When we live in fear of being overwhelmed by our own pain, we live in bondage. And there is no way we can fool ourselves when the Kundalini begins to rise and our life starts showing us where we're caught, and we start feeling the tightness in our condition. If you can't let the tears flow, if you won't let the tears flow, it is hopeless for you to be free. There are certain things that we must face about ourselves. Irrational fears, post-traumatic stress, terror that we can't even define. These are things that we're all dealing with because we all have had traumas. We all face the pain sooner or later so that our heart can finally open to the divine light. And how do we let that happen? We have to soften to ourselves. We have to let the fear make us softer rather than more rigid. We have to be in one place long enough to feel safe. One place within. We have to trust the space of what we hold within. But when we're fragmented, we bounce around with these sub-personalities. One's doing this for us, one's doing that for us. And we can never come into the center because the center makes us still. And when we're still, we realize we actually aren't still, that we're shaky. And so we keep moving and moving on and running. However sophisticated we run, it's still what we're doing. When we don't have the freedom to flow around other people, to express our feelings, to allow our feelings to be, to open up to the past wounds, that is a part of opening up the heart. It is inevitable that it must happen. Our root chakra, our survival mode, is what keeps us trapped. Because the things that we have done to protect ourselves are no longer necessary. However, when that part of our brain is triggered, we react in our bodies, and when our bodies feel that terror, and it's irrational, but no matter what you do, you feel it in your body. When we feel things in our body, we tend to want to get away from that feeling, and so we don't put ourselves in the situation for that feeling to come up. But we need that feeling to come up because we need to know that it's not real, it's a phantom from before. It's the idea that we aren't safe because of something that has happened. Whether we remember what happened or not isn't important. What's important is staying with the feeling and softening to the fear and letting Mother Nature take her course and letting that feeling be. Breathing into it, opening up to the fear and the grief and the anger, whatever it is, opening to it and dropping all the mental chatter. And while the mental chatter is there, we don't need to accept its invitation to form stories and opinions and solutions and advice. And we get caught in these habits where that is what we do. We feel the feeling and our mind starts racing, and it's this terrifyingly horrible loop that we get stuck in, and the more we engage it, the deeper the grooves become. For some people, other people just become so cold and rigid and feel so in control, but they're so limited by that need to be in control of those wilder feelings or more terrifying or more scary places inside that we all must go to face the demons of before. We all must go into the darkness of what we brought here with us in this lifetime. If we want to be honest with ourselves, we are all dealing with the terror of the annihilation of the imaginary self, the terror of who I think I am and how I need to do and be to survive this life of mine, the terror of what happened and how it might happen again, and how I'm never going to let that happen again. And my body will show me how I need to be jumpy and get away from that thing when it triggers me, the triggers. So we can watch ourselves being triggered and feel it in our body and let it be. Instead of retaliating against an outside object, leaving a situation, let it be. And the way we do that is we do the practice that allows ourselves to come out of the first chakra and up into the crown area, so that we can bring some balance to the overreactivity of the reptilian mind, which is what the first chakra is all about, is our survival. We need to make our lives stable. We need to have a balanced routine and a spiritual practice, however simple it is. And we need to create a safe place for ourselves. And watch our breath and meditate and bring our energy into this part of our brain rather than this part of our brain where we get stuck in the fight or flight response. And neither one of them are what we need anymore. This is the behavior of animals, but we have that part of our brain, but we don't need to be a scared animal anymore. When our heart opens, it's a very powerful thing, because we become empowered, not because we are going to conquer everything that scares us in our path, but because we have given up to something higher that is so beyond the trivial things that happen here to this person. However painful they are, we are so much bigger than the pain we carry. But the pain we carry is very real and will hold us back until we turn around and face the demon. And I understand that it's hard. And the more we face the demon, the more subtle the demons become. But to take our power back and to live with an open heart, we must go to the places that terrify us and be with them and confront them and be kind. Because when we feel ourselves getting hard, we're holding everything out, even love. And we can't fool ourselves that our love is just a trickle when it could be a waterfall. Because we won't let the fear speak to us. And that fear is a part of ourselves caught in some other time. And we're triggered and we go back to that time, and that person in that time 20 years ago is panicking again, and we're holding her down, him down. And they need to be heard, and they need to be felt, and they need to be made to feel safe by us. When the Kundalini energy is rising, a part of our subconscious mind also realizes what's required. And what's required is that we drop this identification with this persona. And it's a gradual process. And this person needs to become very stable and strong and courageous to really let it go and let it be all in God's hands. So we need to cherish our bodies, make our lives stable, create a stable routine for ourselves, create a very balanced and healthy first chakra so that we can deal with the parts of the first chakra that are holding us down, caught in the PTSD, fight or flight problem. When we really start purifying and when we're really ready to rise to the next level of our consciousness in a profound way, we have to go through this. And because it's in our DNA to survive this personality and this body, it's a struggle to let go and let God, because it can't be in our head, it has to be in our body, and we have to feel it. And like I said, how we do that is we create the stability. We do the practices, and it's not going to happen overnight. Little by little, stay with yourself, be with yourself. When you're feeling afraid or angry or defensive, go sit down and let the feelings flow and drop the narrative about the other person or the situation or whatever. Because we create these scenarios over and over again that only make it worse for us and make the grooves of that survival defensiveness even deeper. So we raise our energy. And we practice identifying with that higher part of ourselves so that we have the awareness to see where we need to let go. We have the courage to be with ourselves. And most of all, that we actually love ourselves enough to be with ourselves. That we love ourselves enough to realize how much we're suffering by holding on to the past and all the trauma that is frozen in ice within us. It's frozen. And you can't have part of yourself frozen and expect that you're flowing in that divine grace. The work of a spiritual warrior is to be in that in-between state of, I'm not yet fearless, but I'm not going to live in blind, frozen terror anymore. And while everything's thawing and melting, it can feel scary and chaotic, but we have to stick with it and keep softening to those feelings and letting them pierce us and staying with them and giving the space and the forgiveness to ourselves and the freedom to be who we are and to stop apologizing for who we are. We realize that we are evolving and we have work to do on ourselves. I would like more space and more freedom and more expansiveness and more joy in my life, as an example. And these things are what are keeping me down. Fear, grief, stories about other people, family members. It's painful. We carry the pain of our ancestors. But our heart is big enough to hold it all. And this is not a mental thing. This is a physical thing. So you have to do the physical work, which means that you have to deal with that first chakra, fear. You have to deal with what is buried deeply in the subconscious mind. And you have to identify with the higher part of yourself over and over and over again, so that your subconscious mind starts befriending you. Rather than us being at odds with what it may show to us, the tears must flow. Curl up in a little ball and cry if you need to. Be real with yourself. Stop trying to live up to your own idea of your self-image. Let yourself be who you are right now, and trust that that's okay. And trust that whoever you are is okay. And there's nothing bad or wrong about who you are. It's just that we're all here to evolve at whatever level we find ourselves. And our heart can always be bigger. And we can always be a brighter vessel of the divine. Just close your eyes and lift your awareness to the crown of your head and soften your body. And feel that smile on the inside and the joy on the inside. Feel the golden glowing light just beneath your skin radiating. And feel that part of yourself that sees it all and understands it all and feels complete and utter, total self-acceptance and love and peace. Like a lake so still, it's like a mirror. The mirror of your mind. Let it be still. Be with the breath. Drop your mind down into your body and let your light shine. And accept what you find and take the responsibility with whatever level you are at to deal with what's going on. To get yourself prepared to do the work, to find the tools, to work on your body, because it is a physical thing. The energy must be moved physically. Moving your body, yoga nidra, breathing, understanding what's required today, a daily prescription. Do I need more activity today, or do I need to relax a little more today? You are managing you. You are your great mother. You are your great divine mother. You are your great divine father. And this is how it must work. For our hearts to be open and for you to be the saint that you were born to be.